everyone doing today? I have an amazing guest with me today, good friend, been friends for many years, and I'm really excited to introduce her. But like I definitely, and I always say this with, the guests that I bring on, essentially, majority of our guests on Wokkah, we've had several conversations together. We've built relationships, done work together and things of that nature. And Toyin is not different from any one of those. And so I'm really excited about having Toyin on with us today for a variety of reasons. When it comes to mindsets and comes to really how to unblock those things that actually help prevent you from moving forward, she's the go-to person for that, right? Self-sabotage, all that good stuff. When it comes to someone who has really been disciplined enough to go from execution or from planning to execution, Tony is also really, really good at executing. She doesn't waste any time in executing. As a matter of fact, she got into trouble for executing. And she would share a story about how she got essentially kicked out of some, for basically just executing, for doing. So she's a no-nonsense individual, and I can't wait to have a conversation with her. Welcome, Toyin, to the Wokkah podcast.
Hello, Iyanu. Hi, everyone. I am honored to be here. Like Iyanu said, we've run a long time, and so I'm excited for the conversation we're going to have because we talk offline, so this is going to
Offline.
be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so like, Toyin is one of my trusted individuals. I get suggestions from her. She's consistently saying, hey, bro, do this or try that. And when it comes to AI, I try to exchange.
Inserting my mouth with you. Like, go. When I'm in your corner, I'm just in your corner. I'm going to just be
I
sending
know,
good
right?
thoughts.
And it's good to have those people. There are certain people that you really, really want to, like I have a lawyer, I have you, my partner, Jason, John. Like
Yes.
basically, when you have people that you can always talk to, you can call and things of that nature, it's
Yeah.
really, really comforting because when you're running a business, it's really very easy to be isolated and also
Yes.
very easy it gets really lonely very, very quickly. So having people in your corner is really, really critical. And you're one of those people I say, you're in my corner. I really appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
So Toyi, I don't think I've done justice to introducing you, even with all the things that I've said. And so I want you to really introduce yourself to our community. I know you've gone through different Lady VJ here a couple of weeks ago, and you're very, very similar to Lady VJ. I really think you and Joko Tade should meet.
Mm.
But Lady VJ was basically, I said I would define her as, she said she would define herself as a multi-talented person. And I told her in the business world, she probably would be defined as a serial entrepreneur. And when I think about you, I think about the multiple things that you're doing and how your business has evolved. That's really what comes to mind. So I'll just let you do an introduction of yourself.
Well, hi everyone. My name's Toyin Crandell, and I think I would have to start my introduction of myself with the fact that I was not always where I currently am. I will explain where I am, but my business journey actually started in absolute failure. Like complete failure. When we kicked into business full time, myself and my husband, we really didn't, we knew strategies for scale. We knew strategies for running business, but I'm going to talk a bit more about this later in the podcast. I had the wackest money mindset you could ever imagine. So my mindset around money was very reticent. Like I just, anything that involves money, I didn't feel good about it. And so what did that mean when you're running full-time business and you're not really comfortable with making money? It means that we ended up becoming homeless, squatting with my sister, my parents, and auntie from church, like everybody. Okay. And so we were homeless. At one point we ran out of food to eat, and going from that place to figuring out, because what was happening was we would make money. And then every single time we would have like a big month, I would do the same activities. And y'all, I'm Nigerian, like originally. So hard work is not foreign to me. Like I feel like for Nigerians, hard work is in our blood. Okay. So like I'm hardworking, I'm doing the same things and it would have zero results until we're back at struggle. And that was when I was like, okay, something is wrong. There's something deeper going on where I'm making money only when their struggle. And it's this feast and famine cycle, which if you're a business owner, this is one of the biggest symptoms of a whack money mindset is what I call it. So I took time in October 2017. This was the year that things really changed for us because it was the month that things just went all the way out. It just went out. October 2017, things were so bad that we ended up having to, at this point, we had our own apartment, but I had made decisions again that moved our money out. And y'all, it's not like there's no money, but even the little money we would have, I couldn't keep it. I would, oh, this person needs it. Let's give him all of our rents because he needs it more than we do. And then I don't have rents. And I'm like, Toya, what is happening in your brain? But when we did that decision, we ended up not having money for rent. And we had to email friends and family to ask what's up. Now, we used to be like missionary couple. So me and my husband knew how to ask people to support us in a business. Like when you're a missionary, you can reach out and be like, hey, could you support us as we do this work? You can't now be like, now I'm a business owner. Hey, could you support me as I run my business? I'm like, what? But that's what happened. And that was the moment that I was like, I cannot, this cannot be our life. And in that place, I asked the question. I'm a person of faith, and I did a leadership assessment, and in this leadership assessment, the man like looked at my entrepreneurial index and my potential for this and my personality for that. It was like EIUPLL, all this. This guy is like, so I'm very like, my faith is a very big central block for me. And so this guy goes, hey, Toyin, I've assessed your stuff. And he's done this for Fortune 500 companies. He goes, you're very service oriented. And I agreed with him. I'm like, yes, I am. He's like, you've probably worked in social work. And I'm like, oh, yes, I have. I've worked in a shelter for women coming out of addiction for 9 years. I worked in a shelter for people who were mentally ill for another 9 years. Like, I've done this work. I was in ministry. I've sat with the homeless. I run, we bring food to them, all sorts of things. So I was like, absolutely. I love service. I love to serve people. And he's like, don't worry, it's a good thing. And then he goes, the only problem is you're also demotivated by money. And I'd never heard that in my life. And what happened was he started to show like, so, okay, as soon as he said you're demotivated by money, in that moment, I'm a person who prays. And I felt like God was speaking to me, and God spoke to me and said, Toyin, you're not just demotivated by money, you are afraid of money. I don't know if you guys know those moments where you have like 1,000 thoughts at the same time. So in that moment, I think about my business and how every single time we would start having momentum, we would start making money. I would literally go on a prayer retreat because I do that regularly. And I would go and I'd come back to my team and I'd be like, I feel like God is saying we need to shut that part of the business down. It's distracting us. And God just started to show me in that moment, like, Toyin, that wasn't me telling you to shut down what's successful in your business every time. That was actually the fear that you have of having too much money. And I know some of y'all are listening and you're like, I am not afraid of having too much money. If you had asked me, Toyin, are you afraid of having too much money? Like just face to face, I would have told you absolutely not. I need money. I'm trying to pay my rent. But what happens is there's things that are happening in your subconscious. And subconscious means it's not front and center for you. And for me, my fear was I was used to praying and asking God to provide the light bill, the rent, every single thing we needed, the grocery money. And there was a part of my brain that thought if I have more than enough money, maybe it's going to take me farther from my faith, take me farther from God. And God is my top priority. And so I was like, I don't want more than enough money because I don't want anything to impact my relationship with God. And so that was my biggest aha moment, was because here's what God taught me in that moment. Everything happened in that moment. My whole life changed when this guy said that one sentence. What God showed me was, Toyin, the fact that your fear of money is causing you, because my goal was to obey God in running this business. It's causing you to not run the business the way that I've called you to run the business. means that you are doing the very thing you're afraid of. You are putting money above me and above what I've called you to do. Because in this stage of your life, I've called you to go make some money. And that was like, I got mad because the guy was talking and the guy's like, you have to think about Mother Teresa. Like, he wasn't even like Christian. He's just trying to explain the illogical place that I was in because I was mad. I was like, I don't care about money. And he's like, you have to remember, like, Mother Teresa had great impact in the world and she served all these orphans. But in order for her to serve all these orphans, money had to pass through her hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, you think about the impact that Oprah had. In order for her to reach the number of people she reached, money had to pass through her hands. And it was his way of trying to show me, like, he said, but he literally said this, and I quote, he said, you have the potential based on your EIUP, whatever, to have global impact. And he said, you likely never will. And he said, it is because you're demotivated by money. That was his exact sentence. And that was when he was like, here's what I need. And that just changed my life because I got off. I remember I was parked because he had called me while I was driving. So I had parked in front of a parking lot. I hung up the call and I was so angry inside. I was like, I can't believe I've allowed money to boss me around all these years, to allow us to be homeless. We had lost a child like in a miscarriage because of the financial stress. I was just like, I can't believe I've allowed money to be such a huge negative impact in my life. And in that moment, I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be a millionaire in a year. I'm just going to prove to myself that I am not afraid of money anymore. And we ended up becoming, remember, we were starting from, we don't even have the money for rent at this point. So we didn't do it in a year, but we did do it in 3 years. We became a millionaire in 3 years. We went from millionaire, multiplied the money to multimillionaire. The same people who moved 7 times in 7 months ended up having multiple real estate property. So today,
Wow.
11 different streams of income. We're actually currently the 35th fastest growing female led company in the entire nation of Canada. We have been on the general fastest growing company list for the last 3 years. 2023, 24, 25. We are thriving as a company. But one thing I will say that is more important to me is that not only is our business on this ultra scale and growth trajectory, but I love my husband. I homeschool my children because that's what we want. We live in Mexico because that's where we want to live. Like, I am actually living a life that I am every single day wake up grateful to live. And guess what? Actually, I think I actually have more dependency on God than I did when I didn't have like any of this stuff. And the main reason is because at this level of business, I have employees that work with me and their whole families are dependent on us. You know, we impacted over 72,000 clients across 17 countries. And I have not counted 2025 yet. But this is how many people we reached. Even more dependent on God because I can't do what I do without him at this point. So it's been amazing.
My goodness.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. So I'm going to start to peel the
right.
layer of this. So you went from, man, how are we going to fix this financial problem that we
Yes.
have? Clearly, with all the mindset blocks, at what did your thoughts start matching your action?
Ooh, this is good. This is a good question.
Yeah. At what point, like, man, to make that shift,
Yeah.
I know I have to do like maybe 10 or 15 affirmations.
Can I say something about affirmations and then I'll answer the question? Okay,
Yes.
I just want to give your podcast listeners a big hack right now. Big hack, okay? A lot of people, especially like, you'll see people who are saying like how to create your future and stuff. They'll tell you to do affirmations. And there is actually, that's what I was trying to do before. So like beforehand, when my money mindset was off, I had affirmations. I had these declarations that I would say about my business, and I earned this amount of money every month, and
Yep,
I'm
yep,
showing
yep.
up on this level, and I own this, and I run this, and I have a best-selling book. I mean, now we have 2 best-selling books, but before I did not. And I would have these affirmations, and it wasn't working. And I just wanna drop this for those people that are like, Toyin, I've been doing these affirmations and nothing is changing.
Yep,
Let me
yep.
just tell you what's happening. Here's why it doesn't work. I'm gonna lean in on this. When you do affirmations, if you have not first addressed, recognized, and uprooted the limiting beliefs about money first, what happens when you speak affirmations over a mind that subconsciously has a long list of limitations around your growth and around your business, around your money, is your brain actually experiences what we call cognitive dissonance. So cognitive dissonance means that your brain is going, you're saying, I earn, let's say this is where I started, right? And we were earning literally $16,000 a year. That was our tax revenue that year. The next year was 130, and this is what I'm going to tell you what changed. The year after 130 was 600 and something thousand, 679,000 or so. The next year we were in the $1 million a year. The next year we were in multiple millions a year. So this stuff is real. This is at the point I'm earning 16,000 a month. So let's say 16,000 a year. So let's say that's like 1,200 a month. Okay. Coming in, and I say these affirmations of I earn $10,000 a month. I earn $10,000 a month. You repeat it and you repeat it. Your brain is looking at that statement and going, why are you lying? No, you don't. No, and it creates this feeling of like less than, I'm not doing it, what's going on, da da da. So here's what you have to do if you're going to do affirmations. Before you do the affirmations, and this was the lesson, so I'll answer your question. In November of 2017, so I told you guys about October of 2017. In November of 2017, this is where I made this decision. I'm going to be a
Guys,
millionaire in a
listen to
year.
what she's about to say, because what she's about to give you now costs a lot of people money. Oh.
That's right. This is where the switch happened. October 2017, we can't afford rent. We send the email out asking for help. I make a decision that I want to be a millionaire in a year. And at that point, this is the end of October, I spend time to ask God, okay, what are my limiting beliefs about money? Now, here's the thing about finding out your limiting beliefs about money. Here's what you need to understand. It will never look like a limiting belief because it's what you believe. Do you understand? So when I asked that question, I started journaling, and I remember writing, I'll give you guys one example of my limiting beliefs at that point. One of my beliefs was you never ask people for money, which, believe it or not, that's what led me to the place where I had to ask people for money because I couldn't afford rent. So it's so weird how we just sabotage ourselves like this, guys. So one of my beliefs was you never ask people for money. You only ask God if you have any needs. Now, how was that impacting my business? Because now I'm not, because in mission work, that was the way I operated. When I was a missionary, I tried not to ask for any money. I would only pray and believe, okay, God, you're going to provide for us. And then we just figure it out. And if nobody gave anything, we would just suffer and figure it out. Okay. Here's how that does not translate well into business. In business, you are always asking for the sale. You're always asking for money. In fact, you have sales conversations or you have a sales landing page, that's asking for money. Now, if you do services, you send invoices. So what I was doing is I would take so long to send an invoice. Why? Because I didn't want to ask for money. If I sent an invoice and the client didn't pay it, I wouldn't even, it's okay. Why? Because I didn't want to ask for money. And so here's what God showed me. And I know some of you guys may be Christian, maybe you have other faiths. It's totally fine. This is about the principle of the thing, okay? He was like, he knew that what I needed was the Bible to show me how my thinking was wrong. So when I wrote, you don't ask people for money. You only ask God to provide for you. And I write it down and I'm like, God, how can this be? 1 second. My camera loves to. Here we go. Are we back? There we go.
Yeah, we're back now.
Write it down. And I'm like, God, this makes sense. I'm telling you, I want to come to you and ask you for money and not people. And he showed me the story of Esther in the Bible. And in the book of Esther, there's this woman who there's someone trying to murder and kill her whole people group, okay? And she doesn't go and ask God to stop this plan to kill her people. What she does is she prays and then she goes and talks to the king directly and just says, hey, they're trying to kill my people. Can you please make sure this doesn't happen? And then God shows me another example where Joseph was in prison and Joseph had interpreted dreams. He was in prison wrongfully. He didn't just tell them, you know, I'm going to help y'all out and then I'm going to tell God to get me out of prison. No, Joseph helped them. And then he said to the guy that he helped, when you get back into Pharaoh's palace, please remember me. I was not put here just rightly. Get me out of this prison. He asked the guy directly for what he wanted. And that was my aha, that permission to ask for what I want. And once you know that, you're following up on your invoices. You're asked and charging the value of what you provide. Y'all, I was working for $50 a month, helping people make thousands of dollars a month, earning $50 a month doing it. I made such a big deal. I was like, we're doubling our prices. It's going to be $100 a month. We were helping people make money and I couldn't buy groceries. And so once my sense of value shifted, once I started doing this work, so what changed for me was literally sitting my butt down and writing down all my limiting beliefs about money. There were questions that I wrote to ask myself to help myself figure out what I wasn't seeing. And that actually is what we teach today. We have a program called Money Mindset Shift that helps people to identify what are your limiting beliefs about money, what steps do you need to take to transform them, and then once you transform them, all the courses you're buying, all the apps you are paying for, all the other things you're putting your money into, you finally allow it to work.
Yep.
Can I add one last thing?
Absolutely.
I think one of the biggest temptations right now for business owners is the abundance of options we have, especially with AI, right? With the advancement of AI, there are new apps being created every single day. Every single minute, someone is launching a new app to fix this, to do that, to help you achieve that. And I think a lot of business owners are so lost in the sauce of something outside of me is going to fix my business, is going to scale my business. Do I use AI? We're going to talk about, I use a lot of AI. But what I learned is your solution for your financial growth, for your business scaling, for your income, your revenue to multiply year over year over year over year is right here, is internal. It's not going to come because you use the latest, greatest AI app. AI will only amplify what's already on ground. So if your is limiting the business, is lowballing the business, AI is just going to multiply that. I've worked with clients who had so many clients coming into them. And when we looked at the numbers, they were losing money per client. So their team is celebrating, oh yay, look, we just got another client. But the business owner is like struggling, payroll is hard, everything is hard. And she's going, I don't understand why this is happening because we have clients. And we looked at it and what we realized is, yes, she's getting the clients, but the pricing was not where it needed to be. And the reason the pricing was not where it needed to be, even though she knew, and many people know what the industry average is and what they're able to charge for what they offer, the money mindset says, I can't charge that. And then if you don't charge what you're worth, you end up doing all the work and the business isn't doing what the business is supposed to do. So there's that.
My goodness. That was a lot. That was a whole lot. And guys, listen, if your mindset is not right, actually, this is one of the reasons why we actually have you on. is to address this specific issue.
Mhm.
Essentially, lots of people are inundated with so many AI tools.
Yes.
Everybody wants to use everything that exists. Everybody wants to enroll in every course that exists. But in
Yes.
reality, like if you don't work on your business, even on the technical side, most of the time people want to introduce AI to solve one specific problem, but never actually do a business audit to figure
Audit.
where AI would actually create more growth,
Bridge.
more sales, more. And so, you end up saying, hey, yeah, it solves this little problem of mine. Oh, well, you're limiting yourself to that little problem, whereas you could be you using AI to solve your AI with an AI agent to solve a sales problem that will double your income, double your revenue, double all of that. And so you end up really not really having the right mindset to be able to pull
To
through with it,
leverage.
to leverage the tool to be able to take it to the next level, and then that becomes a problem. So,
Correct.
wow. So, guys, are you listening to this? One, you identify that limiting belief, identify that thing, that belief that is hindering you from being able to move to the next level. Anthony said something. She said, you might actually believe in the belief.
Yes. You always believe in it.
You
Like
always
you
believe in the belief.
argue with people that it
Yes.
is this way. I'll talk to people and they will argue with me in the beginning of working with me that, Toyin, in my industry, this is what we do. This is how we earn. This is what. So you will be so convinced of your limiting belief. And one thing I always often say is like, stop fighting for your limitations
Wow.
because we will fight to believe what
This
we
is me.
believe, even though it's the very thing keeping us stuck.
Man, it was good that we had to take care of this before we shifted gears into the AI conversation.
Right.
And so, like we just said, AI is everywhere. Everybody's using it. It's no longer something that is hidden. It's something that has become really public. Like you
Yes.
said, multiple tools are being built on a daily basis.
Yes.
Let's start with this. How are you using AI today to multiply your growth as a business? What are some of the things that you're doing to use AI to multiply your growth as a business?
So we use AI every single day in our business, probably every hour of every day. We'll use tools like, one of my favorite tools, y'all should, if you're listening to
Mhm.
this podcast, you know this one is Chat GPT. I'm gonna start with Chat
Yeah.
GPT. Now,
Yep.
the way we use Chat GPT is not the way that a lot of people tend to use it, in terms of a lot of people will have like we have an information company, so we train people, talk a lot. I create content around what I'm training people on, educational content. And so the mistake that a lot of educational companies will do when they're using ChatGPT is they'll try to make ChatGPT the coach. So they try to get ChatGPT to create the emails, the content, the stuff. And what we do instead is, number one, there's certain things that I will get the ideas. Like, because as you're living your day, you're always getting ideas of how to add value to your people. So I just write a list of ideas. Let me just get real practical. Write a list of ideas as they come to me. When it's time, I'll voice note to Chatty. This is exactly what I want to talk about. This is how I want to talk about it. This is the frame. I've already trained my Chat GPT, like customized it to my voice. It will spit back to me and organize my thoughts. And then I take that into a document and rewrite it in my voice. So it does it in my voice a little bit. But let me just tell y'all, please understand, Chat GPT has a voice. It has a voice, very obvious. You can hear it. I don't care how much you train it. Chatty is going to tell you it's not this, it's this. It's not about blank, it's about blank. Call it Chatty. Chatty will always be double talking, doing contrast statements. And so you want to make sure that you're changing the language so that it really reflects you. So that's number one. We also
Yep.
we use it for, am I here? Did I freeze? Am I
We
back?
can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you too. I think I'm frozen now, but we can
Okay.
keep talking. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back now. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. So Chatty is one of the other things we do with ChatGPT is we use it to assess a lot of our content. So look at this page, look at this thing. How can we improve it? Give me other ideas. This just went viral. Like right now, we've been like going back to back viral on Instagram for the last month. I think we gained like 10,000 followers. And then we've been going back to back viral on TikTok as of like the last 3 days. And we're getting thousands of followers there. We take that content and we go to Chatty and we say, what's going on with this content that's making it resonate so that we can do more content like
More of
that.
that. I
So
see.
that's one way that we use AI. Another way that we use AI is in photos, like simple AI twins. This one is like basic kindergarten of AI. But I used to do photo shoots all the time because you're the teacher, you're the face of this thing. And I'm just like, I don't like putting on makeup, truly. I do it because I did it because I love you, Iyanu.
Oh,
I hate putting on makeup. I hate the having to like get organized for a photo shoot. So we'll definitely use AI for some AI twins so
got
that
it.
we can keep our content going, but I'm not
Yep.
always taking new photos.
Incredible.
And then we use AI in like a lot of our everyday tools. So Canva AI we use often. We use Tango Canva for y'all know Canva.
Yep.
It will create graphics and images
Yep.
and stuff.
Yep.
We use Tango AI, which is a SOP tool that will actually help you to kind of record what you're doing, convert it into an SOP, and then give that over to your team. We use Notion as well.
Motion is
Are there a bit? I mean, this is the tool that holds everything together for us. It's called Profit Engine 360. And so if you're a business, have CRMs, client relationship management systems. So this is our client relationship management system. It hosts our landing pages, our emails, everything that we do in the business comes out of Profit Engine 360, and it has a lot of AI functionality within it. I like this tool because we have a lot of contacts on our contact list because of our size. And so we've used a lot of other email autoresponder
I
tools and
see.
CRMs, and they would always charge us the more we grow. So I think the last tool we had was charging us like $2,000 a month, just because of the number of contacts we had.
Wow. Wow.
Profit Engine 360 gave us like all the functionality that we need for hosting courses, training, blah, blah, blah. But there was
Unlimited
no
content.
limit on the contacts. There's no limit on like you're not paying extra because you hit the
That is so
threshold of
good.
emails and all sorts of things. So Profit Engine 360 is like our real big one, and then everything else. Another one that we use is Pabbly. So people use Zapier a lot. We used to use Zapier, but once again, we've grown to such a scale that it's like I was like, no, is there another tool that can do what Zapier does, but at a fraction of the price because we have so many people running through so many automations and
Yeah.
connections. And so we moved over to Pabbly and things like that.
Wow. That is so cool. My goodness. So one, I know exactly what you're talking about with ChatGPT, and we'll start there. I like the fact that, and we've said this on the podcast too before, the
Mhm.
fact that basically these AI tools have a voice. So
Yes.
basically you need your voice,
Yes.
and you need your voice to be heard. You need your voice to basically coin your message so that it speaks to you. And
Right.
because when it doesn't speak to you, then basically you start wearing other people's images, and
Yes.
essentially it translates in the video that you create. It translates in the content you create. But when
Right.
you're doing it, when you're doing it and it's really focused on your voice, your person, your personality, the more the tool can learn about you, the easier it
Correct.
is for the tool to be able to give you ideas that work with you to be able to get the message out.
Yes.
Myself and Gabby were actually laughing yesterday because I was on a lady's page, and she had so much engagement on her page, and she wasn't even using her exact, like she wasn't using her, like when we talk about
Mhm.
I mean voice could mean voice in a message, not exactly your spoken word.
Sound.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this lady was not using like her like verbal sound. Basically, this lady she would just stand. You do it too. She would just stand, and then, certain content is just coming out, and she was
Yes.
driving engagement that way.
Yes.
Like some of the things that you even think, oh yeah, I just have to get on the camera and actually speak. In certain instances, you probably
Don't
don't
even
have to
do
do
all
that.
that. That's
Yeah,
right.
still drive the engagement and you can still drive all of that stuff. But if you're always thinking in one box, then you're not really able to harness the power that the tool is able to create. So I like that you're actually doing, and you've been doing that for years now, because I know you've been on Chatty for quite some time.
From the get-go, from jump,
Yeah.
while people were like, "This is evil," da da da, I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"No,
You've been on it.
this is where people are about to go. This is where the world is about to move." And so we were literally using ChatGPT right as soon as it came out and
Right.
learning how to code it, and not code it, but learning how to train it and
Train
create
it to
routines and
do
all of
your
that
stuff.
stuff.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. So that's one. Then two, how are you using it to are you also having your team? I would, of course, I would assume your team is the one
They're using it.
using it as well.
Correct.
How many people would you have had to hire if you did not have?
ChatGPT. It's not even just how many people would I have had to hire. Y'all, how long would it have taken us? Like, I used to create content pre-ChatGPT,
Right.
and you sit down at a
Yeah.
blank page and
Yeah.
you're going, how do I want to say this? Where do I want to start from? What
Yeah.
angle do I want to take? Now I'll literally be like, "Hey, Chatty, I want to connect this principle to this story that I love. Can you connect this training principle to this story? Merge them together for me. Show me 5 different ways that I could merge them together, because I don't just want Chatty's opinion. And it gives me 5 different ways that I can combine these principles. And then I sit down and look at it and go, da, da. Like, I use it for my YouTube scripts, y'all. YouTube scripting was like, I ran a podcast. Can I be really honest with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I ran a podcast. It's still there. It's the Millionaire Money Podcast. And I love this podcast. It was changing lives. It was literally in the top, was it 1% or 10%? I can't remember now, of podcasts in the world. But I hated looking at a blank page and having to think about, what am I going to talk about this week? And so what ended up happening was, because of the brainstorming of it, I just decreased my podcast output, decreased and decreased, until eventually I stopped doing that podcast.
Wow. Wow.
So the podcast is still there. People still, people will literally tell me, "Toyin, I watched every episode of your podcast and grew my income by $80,000, or, landed this position, did this, did that." All right, great. What I did, so I started a second podcast. It's called Mastery Live with Self Mastery Academy. This was
Mhm.
now in the era of Chat
Wow.
GPT. And here's the difference in my scripting process with
Hmm.
my new podcast.
Hmm.
Number one, when it's a guest, you don't have any issues, because when it's a guest, it's not your content. You know what I mean? You're just talking to them, and that's the content. But when it's you doing, like, speaking on your own in the podcast, what I now do is I go, this is the outcome of the podcast. I'm telling ChatGPT, this is the outcome of the podcast. It already knows what we're doing. It knows the topics we've talked about, and I'm able to ask or put in prompts like, what are some of the other burning things in this conversation, in this area? I'm able to go to YouTube. Let me give y'all some big hacks, okay? You're able to go to YouTube and search your topic, your industry. I have a secret research account on YouTube that has like all sorts of things that match the content that we want to talk about. Because guess what? There's nothing new under the sun. And other people's virality tells you what people are looking to learn. Now, when you find the ideas based on other people's virality, what matters is you don't do it the way they did it. What matters is, all I need to know is, what are people looking to learn in my industry? Then once I bring that information out of Chat, so I'll take screenshots, I'll feed it to Chatty, like, this is the top viral content right now. What can we say about this from our perspective in our lane? How can we frame this for us? And now I have my own, like, it'll give me different options for the angles that I can take. I take those angles, create my content. And now content creation comes like this because I'm just not starting from a blank page anymore.
So that's really, really good. So guys, using GPT as a tool to boost your creativity and not necessarily as a tool to replace your creativity is really, really critical. And we talk about this all the time. Finding that voice when I say voice, not necessarily your tone voice, finding your voice, like your message, the core what it is that you do.
You need to have something.
Every single time you listen to, yeah, go ahead.
Now, I was just gonna say on what you said about finding your voice. Like one of the things I heard one of my mentors say once, and this was a mentor in my faith, but he said, "Don't be an echo, be a voice." And this
Exactly.
is something I heard like 15 years
Wow.
ago,
Wow.
13 years ago, but
Wow.
it's always stuck in my head. Don't
Wow.
be an echo, be a voice. And if you're just copying and pasting Chat GPT content, because remember, Chat GPT gets its information from everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if I literally will see people that will copy and paste ideas from Chatty and they don't know they have copied and pasted somebody else's exact post word
Mm-hmm.
for word.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Mm-hmm.
people are like, you stole from that person. And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh. And it's like, don't just copy and paste from Chatty, please and thank you.
Wow. So I watched you
Mm-hmm.
operationalize things. I've literally watched you because we were both doing some stuff together, right? So I literally watched you operationalize a doc, like literally physically saw you go on Google Docs. This is how we're gonna do it.
Systems.
When I think about business, like in general, and this is a big piece of how I connect with people and how I, engage people and the people that majority of the people around me are very, very similar in that light.
Yeah.
The business in my mind has like legged stools. The first stool is I call it like let's just, for lack of a better word, we'll just call it the boost engine. So the boost engine basically is like basically how you market your stuff,
Yeah.
how you push your products and all that kind of stuff. Then you have your fulfillment engine.
Yes.
And that engine is where you execute on what you promised the individual that you sold to. And then you have that improvement engine. And that improvement engine is where you basically say, okay, we've delivered on this product or this service, but we want to continue to improve and continue to get better. If possible, continue to,
Yes.
move into other spaces and things of that nature. Right? Can you explain? Because I know a lot of people don't know Notion. And you mentioned another tool, but Notion, is the one that was
Tango.
Tango. So can you explain, one way Tony thinks about operations? Because I think it would be helpful to see it. And then two, how do you translate that into those systems that you create?
Okay. This is the first time someone has asked me this on a podcast, and I'm so happy. I'm about to geek out with
You get that
people.
with me now. I
Like,
need to pull
like,
every.
let's go. This literally the first time I'm being asked this question. I'm so happy. If y'all are watching the audio, I'm grinning. Okay. Okay. I'm so happy. I love this. I love systems. Let me just start with that.
Yep.
I would not be a multi-million dollar. We're literally at the 8-figure mark in our company right now. So like I would not be where I am right now if it wasn't for systems and
Mm-hmm.
automations.
Yep.
So how do I think about systems and automations? The first thing that you need if you're a business owner around systems and automations is you need a mindset shift. Because coming in, I remember I didn't start in business. I was the type of person that was very, I just do what I feel in the moment. How do I feel? Where do I want to go? Or I would say things like, I'm like the wind, because the Bible said that the Holy Spirit is like the wind. I'm like, I have the Holy Spirit in me and I'm like the wind and da da da. And what you realize very quickly if you're running a business and you're trying to be like the wind is you go wind yourself right into burnout. All your staff members quitting and leaving because they can't follow the wind. And so here's the way that I think about systems in my business. If we do something once, sure, the person can do it one off. But if this is a task or a problem that's come up twice, we're starting to consider making a system around it. If the same task comes up 3 times, we are 100% making a system around it. So this is just the overall view. If there is a client complaint, and whenever we have client complaints, I'm talking about a client purchases this thing, this course, this thing isn't working for them, blah, 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 and we need to fix it. If that happens once, go ahead and fix it. Twice, pay attention. 3 times, what's our system to make sure it never happens again? So that's the first thing. So we have a lot of different systems to help ourselves know what to do when things that are recurring happen within the business. How do I think about creating those systems? So just like you said, Iyanu, one of the things that I coach in our business scaling program is we have 5 steps in your company. The first step is client attraction. You have no company if nobody's looking for what you got. So the marketing systems. So for marketing systems, what is your funnel? Are you selling on, are you reaching out to people on Instagram? Are you running Facebook ads? Are you running YouTube ads? Are you just posting organically? Are you doing word of mouth? Are you depending on referrals only? Because if you're depending on referrals only, how's your business supposed to multiply?
Grow.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
So that's the first question. The second question for us on systems is your sales systems. How are they going to convert? How do they, if they come to your door, how do you let them in? And how do you have the specific exchange of value for money? Whether you're an e-commerce, product-based, service-based business, how do you have this exchange? So what systems do you have around that? And are your systems optimized? So for example, we have landing pages, like we sell on calls and we sell on pages. And we will look at the system of our calls, which looks like what? A script. How is it working? Can we change this part? Can we change that part? Would it improve it? Does it detract? Then we think about our landing pages and we are always looking at what's our conversion rate. Okay, if we do a split test of this versus this, what is changing and which one is winning? And then when you find a winning thing, you keep it unless, and then you just say, oh, can we optimize this even more? So your sales systems, fulfillment systems. Now, one mistake people make on their fulfillment systems is some of us create systems for no reason. You see this complex thing that somebody else is doing,
And then you just
you're
want to
like,
copy.
you just want to copy it because it looks sexy. It makes you look like a big thing. And it's like, but is it necessary in your business? So that's one of the questions we ask when it comes to client fulfillment. Because even clients, we read this book, I think it's called by the guy who owns the Savannah baseball team, Savannah Bananas. Okay. It's an amazing book. And one of the principles that I got out of his book was entertain first, remove friction, entertain first. Remove friction, entertain. And what that means is ask yourself the question. And we asked this question, the first time we asked this question, man, our business was doing this, okay? He said, do you have policies just to police your clients? Just to police your team? You know what I mean? And it wasn't like you're doing it because you want to police them in a negative way.
Yep.
What it means is that you have these, here we go. It doesn't mean that you want to police them just to police them, but you have these policies that maybe they were useful when you only had 50 clients, or you were having this specific issue, so you created a policy for about it. But now you have 1,000 clients, and all 1,000 are having to do what the 50 needed to do in order for the system to work, but you have a bigger system that is actually doing it already. And it's like, remove the friction. So we went through a phase in our business where we assessed all of our SOPs to say, where's friction? Remove it. And even today, if we're doing something, one of the first things we'll ask ourselves is this even necessary? And I must say this, as a business owner, this way of thinking around systems has given me so much peace of mind. There's just less to do because I'm not trying to do too much to impress anybody. It's what's the necessary thing we need to fulfill for our clients? Are there any breaks in that fulfillment? And then organize it in a document, make sure the team understands it, hand it over to them so that you can always duplicate that solution. That's the way that I think about it. I'm very strategic in the way that I think, but to your point of like when we jump on a call and I'm always like, okay, so what's the outcome? Let's work backwards. Da, 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 da. I think that I've invested into myself to build that skill because I didn't start like this. I've always been very results oriented. Like if we're going to go do ministry, what's the result we're looking for? If I'm going to write a song, I write songs, I have 4 albums. If I'm going to write a song, why am I writing this song? I'm very results oriented. But I think in order for me to get the way that I am today in business and the business strategy thinking that I have, I've invested over $1,200,000 into my brain, to sitting with strategists, business mastermind. This is not even counting like vendors and contractors that we've worked with within the company. This is me going out and learning in other spaces. And I do think that that has made a humongous difference in the way that I process what needs to happen for us to get to a goal in business.
That is so important.
Yeah.
So important. And I think, and this is where, of course, we're gonna have to have you back because
Hey, I'm here.
this happens when I'm talking to you. It's one, you have the outcome in mind.
Right.
Everyone listening, you have the outcome in mind and you're basically working yourself backwards and you're really figuring out what that process looks like so that you can essentially you can put an AI tool, whatever it is, that can
Precisely.
precisely solve that problem. But
Yes.
again, you said something at the beginning of the conversation, which is what I want to wrap this whole thing up with, is you cannot get there without the proper mindset. So essentially, even building the systems, it's like, you kind of have to come in right. The belief that you probably had to get rid of to be able to do that, in my mind, was the belief that you're not going to blow with the wind and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So,
Oh, can I add one more belief that impacts even the systems you create? A belief that will impact the systems you create. A lot of us have a limiting belief that making money is hard. You have to work hard.
mm,
You have to work hard
mm,
to make money. And it makes
mm,
sense that we have this limiting belief because our parents grew up in a generation where you physically had to work hard to make money. You had
mm.
to go somewhere, do something, apply yourself, in
Yes,
all physically specific ways in order to make money. And our grandparents even more so. Now,
yes.
I'm not saying you're not going to work hard. I work hard. Like I told you people, working hard is in my blood. Okay?
I know
But
that
there's
for
a
sure.
difference. Yeah, there's a difference between working hard because you are finishing your tasks, you're finishing the things you need to finish, and the belief that I have to work hard to make money. Because when you have a belief that I have to work hard to make money, the systems you create are going to reflect that belief. You're going to create systems that force you and your team to overdo. Okay, complexify the system. Your brain's just going to do it without you even noticing it. When you get rid of the belief that I have to work hard to make money and you choose the belief that making money comes easily to me, all of a sudden you're creating systems and your thought process is, how can we make this really simple? How can we make this really easy? Some people actually feel guilty if they are not working hard enough. And like you think about automations, we use so many automations. I don't think automations counts as AI because it's just automations,
Mhm.
but we use so many automations. We use hundreds of automations in our business, okay? And automations is one of those things that make the work easy.
Easy.
I'm not having to message everybody to do this all the time and blah, blah, blah. But you won't think of the right automations to use because you think it has to be hand drawn. Can I just say that automations didn't start in our generation?
Mm-mm.
Like, you think about Michelangelo.
Mhm.
People used to come to Michelangelo because he had the best portraits. He was a painter. He had the best portraits. They wanted his style for their photo. And Michelangelo was one of the first people that I've read about that used what we would call today an automation in terms of
Wow.
leveraging other systems to help him accomplish more in less time. Because what Michelangelo did was he knew that the top part of the signature that people wanted, and this is how you think about AI, chat GPT, whatever automations you want to use. He knew what they were really looking for was the face of that picture. So what he did was he created a system for drawing the arm, for drawing the leg, the torso, for drawing other parts of the body. He trained members of his team on how to draw those other parts of the body. So the person would be there. The other members would do the bottom half of the body. Another person would paint the torso. Another person would paint the position of the arms. And Michelangelo would come in and paint the face.
Wow.
And that person walks away with the Michelangelo style, but Michelangelo was not killing himself to do every single part of it. And that's the
Wow.
same for you in your business today.
Wow.
If you can allow yourself permission to not have to be the superhero, this
Wow.
messiah complex we sometimes
My
our
gosh.
businesses, and
My
just
gosh.
make it easy for yourself by training others, leveraging SOPs, using AI for the parts that it can be used for. And then you come in and you add your pizzazz. Nobody else can, like, the way the mannerisms I have when I talk, I know that that's how I am. So that
Mhm.
part, I'm gonna bring it in. If I'm doing an audiobook, I can use 11 Labs to do my voice, but on an audiobook, nah, you gonna hear Toyin on that. Why? Because on
Yep.
my audiobooks, I go off and I just go on
Yep.
tangents. And so you find those places where it has to be you and you bring you in there, but you don't need to be in everything.
I was talking to some of my mentees yesterday. I was basically telling them, I was like, hey, look, if you really want to build a successful business, you can't build it by yourself. So all of this, oh, I need to get all this together. I need to put all this together. I need to figure out how this is going to work. I need to fix this. I need to build this.
Be a
All of this, I
self-made
want to do it
millionaire.
myself is going to leave you in the in the six-figure bracket, in the lower six-figure bracket, and
Yes.
you're never going to be able to build. But when you build systems, when you create things that actually make it come together, it just comes out really, really nicely. The folks that are listening to the podcast would like to know how they could connect with you. So how can they connect with you? And then share any last words.
You can find me at money, like money, mindset shift, money mindset shift.ca. And if you go there, you're going to see free resources, a free training video, and you may even be able to get a free consultation with my team. So money mindset shift.ca. I also have a couple of best-selling books, international best-selling books on Amazon. So you're able to just search my name, Toyin Crandell Books, and you will see Money Mindset Shift. You'll see Radical Obedience. And then follow me on Instagram, Crandell, and our podcast is Mastery Live with Self Mastery Academy on YouTube.
Yeah, and guys, we'll put all of these links also in the description so that you can connect with her and learn from this amazing, amazing gem. Thank you so much for joining us, Tony. We're incredibly grateful that you took the time. I know how busy you are. And so, thank you for taking the time to be here.
Grateful. I'm grateful for the invite. Can I say one last thing, Iyanu? This last year, so 2024, I did like 24, 20, was it? No, it wasn't 24, 22 speaking engagements in 2024. And it was my first time coming back into speaking after like 5 years of just focusing in on the business. And 2025, just last year, I was like, nah, I'm done. I'm gonna just sit down with my business and enjoy myself. And it was so funny because every speaking request that I've received it was just like, nope, 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 sorry, nope.
Oh,
And I got yours in like December, and I was like, I can't say no to Iyanu. It's Iyanu. I
I
can't
really appreciate
say
you, man.
no. And so I showed up and I was like, I guess Toyin's back. And I'm probably gonna go email my email list and be like, hey y'all, guess what? Toyin's back. Because this was fun. Thank you for having me. It was an
I
awesome.
really appreciate you, man. Always It's always good talking to you. And every single time I'm talking to you, I learn something. Like every single time, and having that is just really, really beautiful. Thank you so much. Guys, please don't forget, itemize those limiting beliefs of yours.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter what AI tools you use. This was really the crux of why I had Tony here. It does not matter what AI tools you use. If you do not have the right mindset, you're just wasting your time.
Right.
Thanks, Tony, for coming.